Here is the absolute truth, well, sort of history and humanity. Enjoy. Many years ago, humans originally existed as members of small bands of nomadic hunters and gatherers. They lived on deer in the mountains during the summer and would go to the coast and live on fish and lobster in the winter. The two most important events in all of history were the invention of corn on the cob and the wheel. The wheel was invented to help man till the ground and transport the corn on the cob. These were the foundations of modern civilization, and together they were the catalyst for the splitting of humanity into two distinct subgroups, liberals and conservatives. You see, once corn on the cob was invented, it required that vast amounts of cornfields be planted, and thus was the beginning of agriculture. While the early humans were sitting around waiting for the corn to grow, they just stayed close to the fields in anxious anticipation. That's how villages were formed. Some men spent their days tracking and killing animals to barbecue at night and to eat with their new treat of corn on the cob. Other men chopped the wood for the fire and gathered more firewood. They did all the heavy work of setting up for the feast. This was the beginning of what is known as the conservative movement. But alas, other men who were weaker and less skilled at hunting and chopping wood learned to live off of the conservatives by showing up just in time for the nightly barbecues. These men eventually took up the tasks of the sewing and the fetching and the hairdressing. This was the beginning of the liberal movement. Over millions of years, some of these liberal men eventually evolved into women. The rest became known as the modern-day girly men. Some noteworthy liberal achievements include the domestication of cats, the invention of group therapy and group hugs, and the concepts of spreading the wealth and of democratic voting to decide how to divide the meat and the corn on the cob that conservatives paid for and provided for. Liberals actually produce little or nothing, but they like to govern the producers and to decide what to do with the production. Over the years, conservatives in America came to be symbolized by the largest, most powerful land animal on earth, the elephant. Liberals in America, quite appropriately, are symbolized by the jackass. Liberals in the rest of the world are typically symbolized by the hammer and sickle. Another interesting evolutionary side note, most of the liberal women have higher testosterone levels than their men do. Most social workers, personal injury attorneys, mainstream journalists, dreamers in Hollywood, and group therapists are liberals. Liberals gave us the concepts of not keeping score in children's sports and declaring that every child is always a winner and a hero. This explains why so many liberal men turn out to be girly men and spend most of their lives going to group therapy with a pocket full of hankies. Here ends today's lesson in world history. It should be noted that a liberal may have a momentary urge to angrily respond to this video. You'll see their comments underneath this video. A conservative, on the other hand, will simply laugh at the satire and yet see the truth that is portrayed here, and they will share it immediately with other conservatives, and they will even pass it on to their liberal acquaintances just to brighten their day. See how thoughtful conservatives are?